Hey everyone, let's discuss different kinds of ER notation. I already discussed one ER notation during ER diagram lecture. There is also one alternative ER notation. In some book you may find this. So this is the standard notation that I discussed during the lecture. For entity set we use the rectangle, and for attributes inside that rectangle box we can write the set of attributes. For simple attribute we can write directly. For composite attribute like A2 is the composite attribute, inside that composite attribute we can write part of it like A2.1, A2.2. For multi-valued attribute we can write inside bracket. For derived attribute we can write bracket after it. So A4 is a derived attribute, A3 is a multi-valued attribute. This is one notation. In other notation, for entity set it will be rectangle. For attribute we are using the oval shape. For simple attribute we can write just oval. For composite attribute we can make child of another oval, right? Here A2 is the main attribute, A2.1 and A2.2 are the child of A2, okay? And for multi-valued attribute we can make double oval, A3 is the multi-valued attribute. For derived attribute we can make dashed oval. So the line can be dashed. A4 is a derived attribute. Mark the difference. Here A4 are the derived attribute representing like this. Here we are writing inside a dashed oval. For multi-valued inside bracket, and here double oval. And for primary key we can mark as underline. In case of this alternative notation also we can underline that attribute and present as primary key. For relationship, both we can represent by the diagonal. For identifying relationship of weak entity set, double diamond. For total participation, double line. Then discriminating attribute of weak entity set, that we can represent by the dashed line. In alternative ER notation, for weak entity set we can make a double rectangle, double border rectangle, whereas in this notation we are writing all the attribute by dashed line. So from that dashed line we can identify that these are the discriminator of a weak entity set, and that will be attached with a identifying relationship set, that is a double diamond. So from that we can identify that it is a weak entity set. But here in alternative notation, weak entity set we can represent it by the double border, right? Next, many-to-many relationship we can just represent it normal line, okay? That's for many-to-many. And for many-to-one we'll add the direction in the one side, and for one-to-one both side there will be arrow, there will be direction. And in alternative notation, in case of many-to-many we'll write star, or we can represent it like this. And one-to-one we'll write 1, many-to-one, many side will write star, and one side will write 1. We can also add the cardinality element like lower and higher as L and H, and we can write the role name. Here generalization, specialization we can represent by the arrow mark, and generalization from E2, E3 to E1, and specialization from E1 to E2 and E3. Now total generalization we can represent like this, arrow and total, and disjoint generalization like this. Here generalization simply ISA, here one line. Total generalization double line. So we can identify this is a total generalization. Relationship sets are same in both. Entity set are same in both, just attributes are different. Here we are writing attribute inside the entity set rectangle. Here we are making separate oval for the attribute. And type of relationships like many-to-one, one-to-one, one-to-many or many-to-one, that are different. We are writing star for many and one for one. Here arrow for one and normal line for many. And weak entity set representation is different. Here weak entity set by a double border rectangle. Here weak entity set is normal as entity set. We just dash line every attribute, so that will represent the discriminating attribute. And identifying relationship, that can be represented by double border diamond. In some questions you might see the alternative ER notation, so remember both are important. I discussed this one is in the standard DBMS book, but in some alternative book this notation also used, so remember both notation. That's it for the ER diagram. If this lecture is helpful for you, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you. Bye bye.